So I want to reintroduce Mette Morsing, our incoming director and professor, to reflect on the day, to try to tease things together and to tell us what we've learned. Now, obviously, you've all learned different things. I've learned different things. Mette's learned different things. But I think we're interested in her perspective. As a reminder, she comes from an interesting blend as being professor in the Copenhagen Business School, in the Stockholm School of Economics. So brings this Scandinavian approach to thinking about these issues, while also having seen the joys of the United Nations from within, leading the Global Compact. So ideally placed as the next leader of the school, I think I will just be absolutely clear with all of you how delighted not only I am, but I know the rest of the leadership team and the whole school is that we've managed to attract her to serve as the new director, and I look forward to her being, in some sense, my boss, not that we have bosses in the University of Oxford. So Mette, please join us once more on stage to give your closing reflections for the day.
Thank you so very much, Cameron, and thank you very, very much to you, Cameron, for your amazing work, for the impressive interdisciplinary team you have built, and for the impact, ambitions about impact, not just driving a very, very important agenda on research and interdisciplinary research, but also driving an agenda with high ambitions and achievements, I have to say, on impact. I am humbled to, be the one who has been privileged to take on after you, and I will do my very, very best. And also thank you personally to you for your generosity, your very warm welcoming of me. And I'm grateful for you introduced me to, the team and many others around here at the school and the university. And I'm grateful that you will also hang around after your biking trip in France. So those of you who will sort of have a little tear, dropping from your eyes when Cameron is leaving and stepping down as the director, I can promise you that we will put him at work, into the next period as well. And I'm very, very grateful for that also, Cameron. So thank you so very much. And I've certainly enjoyed to be participant, be audience, and also be a little bit on the active scene here on the scene today. So I was asked just to sum up very briefly some of my personal takeaways from today, and I can tell you that there are many. I've been scribbling down and I'm thinking a lot, and please know that these are my own takeaways. As Cameron, you've already said, of course, we all have our own takeaways from the many impressions from today. So you will have your own takeaways, of course. And I also want to remind you that you were invited specifically because you're very special to the school. You're very meaningful for us, and we hope that we also have been certainly, but also that we in the future can be meaningful for you. So please reach out to me, reach out to the team if you would like to engage more with us. If you have ideas for where we should go, where we should focus in the future, some of the dilemmas you would like to debate with us, or you would like us to engage more in, please do that. That is very, very important for me to carry on that legacy from Cameron and that reaching out, which I truly appreciate. So let me just say, this conference, this debate, this research and this action behind the research is not just about the climate synergies, but it's about the economy, it's about jobs, we've heard, it's about health, security, water, food, power, inequalities, but taking our departure in the climate synergies today. I think it has been a wonderful journey today that has indeed shown the complexity we face. And let me just take three of the takeaways, mention very briefly three of the takeaways for me. I think the complex systems that we live in have been ongoingly mentioned, and the need for us to address the complexity with system thinking. We need to get out of our silos. We need to get out of our silos, not in a disciplinary sense only, but also the need to partner up with cross sectors. Whether that is sectors in industry or sectors in public and private sectors and private into civil society. and of course universities being part of that, is very, very much needed. And I think that the Smith School is certainly doing that, but we need much more reaching out, because at the end of the day, we are in this together. So systems thinking, systemic resilience is a new concept that I've been hearing again and again today, and the systemic action that is needed. Secondly, out of three. Secondly, I've also heard an interesting, a lot of talk again about the GDP as a measurement for healthy societies, really, for growth, really, and that idea about measurement and maybe the call for measurement on adaptation. It's not easy, it's not really done, and there's been a call for an aspirational goal for some number on the adaptation side. And we all know that such a goal will have a kind of performativity in itself, because it will drive us to that goal and drive us to action to reach that goal, even though we know that that goal may never be completely reached. So I thought that there's certainly some more discussions, a lot of discussions and a lot of action on that number 2 point as well. And the third action is very much, and I agree with the last wonderful Oxford debate here about the need for the co-creation, the North-South, the call for not just our technologies and our processes, our procedures, our policies being invented in the North and being applied in the South, the so-called North, the so-called South, but a call for involving those people who are actually who are most affected, to have them co-design with each other and with the rest of the world the technologies and the processes that are needed to address the world's challenges. And finally, I just want to sort of end on a sort of note of optimism that I also think has sort of permeated the day, even though we are discussing dire issues, and some of my friends ask me, how can you stand being in this, space of the world where you're always confronted with challenges and the world's worst sort of scenarios. And I do think that today is exactly why I'm in this, because there's a lot of optimism, there's a lot of will, there's a lot of people here with brilliant minds and brilliant action that are actually calling for new skill sets, that are calling for a crisis. We heard that in the very morning, calling for that crisis to be even more proximate in order for us to take action. So I think that the solutions are within reach, as one of our projects talk about, within reach with all the innovations that we are seeing and that we've heard some of them mentioned here on the scene today. So I'm very, very happy to be part of this action going into the future. So I hope that you will, as Cameron has said, join us all for dinner in a moment, and I think you're right, it's about that direction. But I hope that you will also join us for breakfast tomorrow at 8:30 in the Randolph, where we have the new Climate Titans sharing success, and where we will have a wonderful team of Fiona Howard, we will have Uda Kemka, we will have Aita Cohen, Jamie Crummy, and Lucy Lyons to discuss some of the new innovative designs for the climate going into the future. 8:30 till 10 o'clock in the morning, and I believe we'll also have a coffee. So thank you very much for today. Thank you.